All right, good morning, Wasteland. Mr. G here, just recapping yesterday's live stream with the developers. If you missed that and you want to check it out, it should be on the YouTube channel. You should be able to go check it out. But if you just want a quick recap of the big things that we covered now that the Battle Pass is dropped, what those new parts are, what the blueprints are, some of the questions that the devs answered, we're going to go ahead and cover those right now. So big one is that torque changes are not happening in this update, which you're playing right now. They are still trying to figure out how to do it. They're going to do a bunch of more public test server tries with it and just feel it out over the next 4 or 5 months. So it's going to be a minute on that one. I know that's a big question on everyone's minds, but let's show off some of the new toys. Now, this is a chunky, heavy cabin right here. So for each 1,000 points of durability, the durability of weapons is boosted by 5%. So you're going to want to use big, heavy weapons on this. First of all, you're going to want to use heavy weapons because they're going to get more of a bonus out of that. You're going to cab mount them. And you notice you can't really mount anything to the front of this. It's like the Serb. You got to face tank stuff with this thing. However, they've made it so that you can fit a lot of cool stuff in here. You can actually fit a whole Apollo in there if you just do the frames correctly. You can fit an ammo box right in there, perfectly sized for ammo box. So they knew what they were doing when they designed this bad boy. We'll go ahead and talk about that. We'll talk about some of the new perks that are coming out, and there's some good ones to the engines are getting a significant change. We need to add a cloak to this thing so that I can show you guys some of the changes here. So I'm just going to really quickly go through some of the stuff we talked about in the video, so you don't have to watch the entire live stream if you don't want to. If you're like me and you got a million things to do every day, you ain't got time for that. You ain't got time for that. All right, so let's slap a chameleon on there. We'll try out this new autocannon. So you can really fit a lot of different parts in there, including Apollo. It looks like I need to mute my Discord too, but we'll get to that in a minute. So what this is going to let us do, perk of this autocannon, is we can cloak and we can shoot. We stay cloaked for about 1.5 to 2 seconds on this thing. And if you run 2 of these, it's got significant impulse. It's going to really make stuff go ahead and fly over. So let me go grab my relic weapons here. The AC-80 still wins. So you guys that are autocannon players, I have a feeling you're going to like this one. Get back on there. So the invisibility effect after the shot lasts for 2 seconds. Okay, so check this out. Look at that. We just about flipped him. Okay, we just about tipped him over. So some really, there we go. Look at that. Some really solid impulse on this thing. And the horn on this cabin, yep, it's like a bell, like a little subway. It's more like a little tram car than an actual train. Speaking of train plows, oh, I was driving around with it earlier, but we had to switch cabins here. Let's go ahead and just stick a different cabin on here for you guys so I can show off that they're bringing back the old train plow that was around in, was it closed beta? Alpha access? I'm not sure. But they've put it back into the game, which I think is pretty sweet, and it looks pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and grab that right now along with... Ooh, we got to look at that piece, which I didn't get a chance to in stream. Lots of new parts. This thing's a heavy old girl, though. Look at the front end of this thing, just scraping on the ground. But a very, very nice looking piece. It just looks savage. Fits the Mad Max element of the game. Really looks cool. And we're going to talk about these new light epic wheels as well in a minute. So lots of new toys coming in this Battle Pass, and we'll go through that, and we'll go through all the requirements. Yeah, it looks like there's a built-in weapon on here, but there's not. There's no fancy built-in weapon on that. All right, what else do we have to show off? Well, there's another cabin. So there's a light cabin as well. So this is an epic light cabin called the Aggressor, and its perk is for every 30 meters you drive in a straight line, it receives a charge that increases weapon damage by 7%. I'd show you this with Lances, but Lances are bugged right now on the test server, so just ignore it, because Lances being one of the main things that are probably going to benefit from this, except when you have to turn. Also, we have this buggy wheel. It's the size of a landing gear, a light wheel. Reduces speed requirements for the bonus activation by 40%. So what you're going to notice is I think our perk activates here max level perk on the Fafnirs at 40 kilometers per hour. So look, it's pretty much instant. So the perk's going to charge up really in a hurry. Now you're going to notice the indicator on the left. We can stack this perk up to 3 times for the Fafnirs. So they're going to get a solid 3 times at 7%, 21% bonus, plus 30% from this cabin, giving us a speed bonus. So solid bonus. We'll see what kind of builds it's going to make. Oh, don't forget the horn. Pretty generic. But you'll notice the engine on this one does rumble back and forth, which is fairly cool. And you guys are going to want weld points. Let me go ahead and show you the weld points on this one. It is a little bit long and goofy. And then we're going to go over some of the other weapons that are coming out with this. And some of the engine changes as well. So we'll cover that. And we'll talk about the new modules that are coming out. So a little bit goofy shape there, but let's talk about one of my favorite new parts here. If I can find it in storage. Where is it at? Where did I keep it? We've got the Thresher, I believe, is the name of the new grenade launcher. This thing is one of my favorites from the Battle Pass right here. So let's check out the perk on this thing. So hitting the target at it should be over 20 meters, increases the damage by 7% for 1 second, stacks up to 5 times. So you got to be a little bit at range with this thing to get the bonus. And it's got limited ammo, but it shoots extremely fast. It has quite the projectile drop. So once you dial in the projectile drop on this, you are going to have a good old time with this thing once it overheats here. Yeah, let's take a look. The DPS on this feels good. You can see the shots do go all over the place with this thing when you're using it. All right, the next weapon we're going to be looking at is the Gremlin shotgun. It's exactly the same size as the Goblin, same energy drain essentially, but it has a goofy perk here. So it's going to be a little tricky to use. You're going to want to use maybe a tankier, heavier build so it doesn't bounce off of the vehicle. But the perk is increases up to 30% for 5 seconds when you're colliding with an enemy, and it depends on the strength of the hit. Okay, so take a look. So right now we've got no bonus at all for this thing. But as soon as we collide with the target, you see we went from like 18% and then down to nothing as soon as we're off. But as soon as we are touching the target, you're going to get that damage bonus. So you're going to want to just face hug with these things. But the damage drops really quickly after that initial impact. So you're going to have to just ram and time your shots with this one. All right, next on the list, we've got the frontal mounted machine gun thingy. What's it? All right, so next up, we're looking at the M32 Vindicator frontal shotgun. It's a legendary shotgun in the line of tacklers. As the weapon heats up, you get damage resistant up to 40%. So you're going to want to throttle this thing up to hot and then leave it there to keep the damage resistance up on this. So a solid perk in that line. It feels just like the other shotgun, the other weapons, machine guns in this line, but just better. Slightly better stats all around on this one. So that covers the new weapons. That covers the new cabins. Some of the other things we need to talk about that we did ask the devs is we did talk about, hey, maybe we can work on lessening the grind a little bit and working on that new player experience. They know it's an issue. It is something they are working on. A big clan war issue that we brought to their attention was the fact that Spark and Flash stack. I guess they didn't really know about it as an issue, so we did bring that up to the devs. Hopefully they are going to go ahead and take a look at how to deal with those being a bit of an issue, because it pretty much brings builds to a stop in Clan War. So we talked a little bit about that. We talked about if they could make the game cross-platform as well. They're thinking about it. They're talking about it. It's a big challenge. We mentioned that things like the market would have to be separate so that they're able to do that without, messing up everybody's values. We also talked about co-drivers needing some love, and people have a lot of materials and grind invested in co-drivers, so they got to be careful with changing things like that. But I just wanted to say a big thank you to both Sam and both Andrew at Targem for spending the time to talk to me and Edgerunner Cold about the new Battle Pass. So engines, we need to talk about that, and then we will go through all of those goodies in the Battle Pass. So the engines that got a change, Cheetah's the same, but most of the epic engines got a change here. The biggest one, well, we'll get to it. Colossus increases durability of all chassis by 20%. That means movement parts. So if you put on like a Goliath track, it's going to be huge. 20% boost to durability of a Goliath, going to be huge. Golden Eagle, same. Hot Red increases the reverse speed of wheels by 50%. So you're going to be able to back up on wheels a lot faster. But to me, let me show you on this particular build. The biggest change to new engines is this change to the Oppressor, which used to be, you know, your speed cabin for when you were going fast and got to shoot. Well, this one's interesting in that they made it so it increases the rotation speed of weapons. So let's take a look. So Mastodon, we know, turns so slow because it's just a big, chunky weapon. Now, as you got to get going to use this engine, but look how much quicker I can rotate and aim with Mastodon versus when the perk's not active. Here it goes. So slow to do 180 degrees. Now let's do 180 degree rotation at full speed. Boop. Look how much quicker that is. So let's take a look at the stats here. It says maximum bonus is 100%. So it's going to turn twice as fast. So for something like a Mastodon, that is a huge deal. So that's your engine reworks covered. Now let's go ahead and go through the rewards on Battle Pass. So we're going to have a recharge booster. So this is at special and at epic quality. So it's going to increase our reload. So let's say I was going to shoot this thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seconds. Well, let's go ahead and grab a module here to help increase the speed of that, which is one of our new modules. Now you can only do one module of any kind. So you can't run this module and then another module. You're only allowed one of this kind of part. Think of it like an engine. Now it's going to be passive buff, so I don't have to do anything to use it. So let's go ahead and use this bad boy right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what does it say is the actual increase here? Up to 20%. So yeah, it took about 1 second off out of 5 seconds. So pretty big deal. If you're going to be using reloading weapons, you're pretty much going to be obligated to run one of these. Now the special variant of this isn't quite as fancy, just doesn't do quite as much. It only gives you a boost up to 10%. But you're definitely going to want to consider adding those to your Crossout arsenals. Well, guys, that was it. This was just a quick recap. I look forward to doing more stuff with the devs in the future. As always, like and subscribe for all things Crossout. Stay up to date with what's going on. Mr. G trying to give you the stuff you need to know as quick as possible because you're busy people like me, right? All right. Be good. Have some fun. Let me know any questions you guys have in the comments. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Mr. G out.